Hello guys, welcome back to the plugin development. So in this one, we'll write our first plugin, which is Hello World plugin. You need to have a Visual Studio Community Edition. If you don't have, I would suggest you go back to our previous section and you find a lesson for how to download and install Visual Studio. First, we create a new project. The project type is a class library. C# is the programming language which we are going to use, and this project needs some assemblies from SDK. So this online SDK is available on Microsoft website. So we are going to get a few assemblies required through NuGet package manager in Visual Studio. And once we get these assemblies, for example, one such assembly is microsoft.xrm.sdk.dll. So this is a class library which Microsoft has built it. So we are going to use this assembly. And this assembly has got one interface called iPlugin interface. We will implement this interface, and there is a method called execute. So we'll write execute method. To understand the context of Hello World plugin, so I'll just show you, what I want to achieve in this. If you go to the dynamics, so open a new contact or create a new contact. So when you are creating a new contact, you supply the first name, last name, and maybe other information, and hit the save button. When you hit the save button, I want to have some custom code for auto populating something to some field. Maybe we'll use there is some field called personal notes, which is nothing but a description field here. So I'll populate something, maybe let's say hello world, first name of the contact. So in this one, the identify the message. So message is nothing but the event, right? So here the event is create event of contact record. That is the one important thing you need to understand in the Hello World plugin. Now we open the Visual Studio and create our first project. Go to the Visual Studio. So, and go to File. Now we need to create a new project. So create a new project. Make sure you select Visual C# here, and you find class library project of .NET framework. There is a caution here, don't select this .NET standard class library, only select .NET framework. So here the name of the project, I'm going to call it as maybe my plugins, and this is your repo location, and the solution name. Solution is nothing but collection of projects here in .NET. So I'm going to maybe call it as my CRM. Let's say my CRM is name of my application, so I just call it as my CRM. So that's my solution, and there is one project inside it which is my plugins for now. And make sure target framework is .NET framework 4.5.2 and click OK. This is a class library. As you can see, there is a simple class created, so there is no main method, so you cannot directly run this code. So this code has to be called from other other applications. In this one we have, so the class one, I'm going to rename this because class one is not good, so I'm going to call it as something which is meaningful. Let's say hello world. The same class name, I'm going to apply it here. So I'm going to rename this, rename hello world.cs. So this is the file. This file has got one class. So each class is one plugin, remember. So within one physical file, that means a single hello world.cs file may have any number of classes. But as a design recommendation, I would always create one class in one physical file. So if I want another class, I'll create another file here. I'll create another file here. Okay, so this is what I'll do. But for now, I think this is enough. Now we need to use SDK assembly called microsoft.xrm.sdk. This one is available from NuGet Package Manager. So go to tools here. You can download SDK assemblies from here and manage NuGet packages for solutions and go to browse, and here you type Dynamics 365. So you have something called core assemblies, and there is another thing called xrm tooling dot plugin registration tool. So these two you have to download. One is core assemblies, the other one is this. So I'm going to select this core assemblies, click install, accept. So it's successfully installed. Now I'll go to plugin registration tool and do the same thing. So these packages add some folders to your project. So that you can see here, you can close this now. And so this is called the Solution Explorer. So in the Solution Explorer, you have a solution here, and the solution has got one project. So if you want to visualize these folders on the disk, right click this and open folder in File Explorer, and go one step up. Here you have packages. You see packages downloaded here. Your required assemblies are present in both of these folders. So you can go to core assemblies here and library. Here you have microsoft.xrm.sdk.dll. So this is needed for plugin development. So I'm going to copy this path and go to this project and go to Solution Explorer, right click the references, add a reference, and go to the browse and browse the folders. Here you have xrm.sdk, so add it. You can use it here using microsoft.xrm.sdk. So this SDK namespace will give you one interface called iPlugin interface. In C#, you can implement interface by using a colon. So I'm going to use a colon here and iPlugin. And this iPlugin has got a method called execute. Here you can see, as you know, interface only gives you the method signature. So the content of the method that you have to implement. So this is how Microsoft captures third-party code into their systems. So they give us some interface, we have to fill out that interface and we have to submit it back. Now Microsoft knows which method to call. I would recommend you to go to Microsoft documentation to copy a few lines of code. We need that code in every plugin we write. And we'll first create the template by using that code. So you go to Google, type Dynamics 365 plugin development, and here you have a developer guide. if you go to the right plugin, so this is the link. I have given you the link in the lecture, so you can directly go to this page. So scroll down, here you have a sample code. So you can copy this. I'm going to copy entire this execute method up to this point. Copy and paste here. And save the project. And we'll do a few changes. For example, if you scroll down, here you have this if condition inside if entity, logical name, account, and return. Remove these lines of code. So I'm going to delete this. You see organization service in 2 lines of code, so you can cut these lines, cut, and paste it before the if statement. So few lines of code I deleted, few lines of code I cut, and I moved it to in front of if statement. So you have a try block here. So your plugin custom code, it goes here. Going onwards, you can copy paste this into every plugin you write, and only change this try block. You are going to only write code in the try block. And here you're getting one exception. This exception is because of we don't have one .NET assembly or framework assembly. So you can get a system.service model from references. So go to reference, add a reference, go to assemblies, framework, type system.service model. Make sure you select this, click OK, and it is added. So once it is added, you need to go to using here and add system dot service model, and now this error is gone. So we just created the template. So in the next lecture we'll discuss a little bit deeper, such as why we have written these statements, and we'll go ahead with the plugin for Hello World.